Good afternoon. No one is answering. Es con mucho gusto que estamos aquí hoy. So we are going to do a small presentation explaining how the market is nowadays in the Middle East. Of course, we are going to always have more experience in UAE.
Exactly. Yeah.
But once finished, then we are going to be open for questions, and they are going to also add some more questions or information. Okay? So let's move on. So I work for Coffee Planet, as she mentioned, Yaser in Douri Group, and Mohamad at Cypher. So what's happening nowadays is the green beans changed a lot over these years. So I'm there for already 8 years. When I came, I still was receiving some emails with people offering coffees very aged or, only real minas, this kind of stuff. But the market there changed so much. So specialty coffees is not only a trend, but is a reality. Also, cup of excellence, new coffee varieties, new different origins. So the people in the Middle East, they are keen to have everything that is new, that is what someone is not doing yet. I wanted to be the first, and I wanted to do something that no one is doing. So, and also new origins that are under development, like still China, we have Saudi, and we know that soon also UAE are going to have their own coffee trees, believe it or not. The roasters, also, we have so many things that we have to take care of also nowadays, because the market in Middle East, they want not only luxury products, but they are always want something that is new, and you need to be on your trend, otherwise you are going to lose a client. So that's why biodegradable package solutions, like everywhere in the world, is something that we are always searching for. Especially after COVID, online platform or apps to increase sales is something that you must to have. Certified coffees also, especially for hotels, they're always asking for Rainforest Alliance, or we have youths also in the roastery, but whatever, fair trade, it's something that is always a need. Sustainability programs from bringing to cup, traceability, coffee at home solutions. So new gadgets and products, so it's something that really everyone is searching, and they are always asking for something. What else do you have? What else? So the consumer in Middle East, they always keep pushing you to search for more. And this is really a big challenge that we are always happy to have. And partnership with coffee farmers is very important also, are going to help us to be on the trend and come with something new all the time. Coffee shops and roasters, and it's so interesting what's happening over the years. The number of, yes, I need. So the number of roasters that we have only in Dubai is more than 100. And Dubai itself is like 4.5 million.
Yes.
And maybe like 600,000 coffee drinkers only.
Exactly. And these also during summer are going to be reduced.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's increasing, and you have a lot of nano roasteries also. So focus on coffee quality and standard of service. ISCA and Q-grader courses are in high demand also. I remember when I arrived there, I was the second Q-grader 8 years ago. Nowadays we have over 30 Q-graders in UAE. Coffee academies also, everyone is open their own. You have your own. Yeah, exactly. So barista competitions, I'm proud to be part of the organization of that also for some years. And it's amazing the amount of Emirates is participating nowadays also. It's beautiful to see. Because you guys know we have more than 202 different nationalities in UAE, and most of baristas are going to be either Filipinos or Africans or Indonesians.
In a way, it's a reflection of the society in Dubai. It's very dynamic. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And very competitive.
Yeah. Yet very competitive.
Yeah, exactly. But milk-based beverages mainly what you have in the coffee shops. Even though more and more the pouring beverages are there also, so more and more we wanna to drink a pour over like a V60 or Chemex.
We're starting to notice that there is more interest in pour over.
Yeah, exactly.
The consumption is increasing because the market was driven heavily by espresso-based.
Espresso for years and years was espresso and milk-based beverages, especially. But nowadays is exactly, and it's so nice.
I think that the new generation is
especially
definitely.
Yeah. But we cannot forget the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Arab coffee is in the culture. And since 2015, that UNESCO was inscribed on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity, UAE, Saudi, I need to read, because Oman, Qatar, is a symbol of generosity also.
Most of the Gulf countries, you know, this is their traditional coffee, you know, because of their, you know, culture and the society style life there. So they always have this coffee on a daily basis.
Yeah, and this is so interesting. You were mentioning to me something the other day. Nowadays in Saudi, you cannot call Arabic coffee.
Yeah, so they changed now the name of Arabic coffee to Saudi coffee.
Saudi coffee.
Yeah, and they have like, you know, in Saudi, even like each region in Saudi having a different blend. When they make the coffee, you know, they add spices. It's very interesting coffee you drink. Lots of cardamom, cloves, ginger, cinnamon, and saffron for sure. So this is how they blend, and they pour it in this coffee pot. And they have this coffee pot all day long, full on the table. It's always available for them.
It's a way of showing Arab hospitality. So whenever you go to different houses in Saudi Arabia or
all GCC,
all
countries, yeah.
It's a way they keep serving you coffee until
until you shake your cup and say
you shake your cup saying no more.
Yeah, then they know that no more.
Yes.
Yeah, but then this is changing also the way that they ask also different origins or different coffees.
Yes.
They don't want only. In the past used to be only Brazil. Nowadays they want, okay, I just want a Nicaragua, I just want a Colombia. No, don't come with anything. I just want high specialty, and so they want 85 plus, 86, and this is a trend now that you're following.
Yes,
I know.
Exactly. It's a trend, you know, like everyone is requesting for a new cup to try.
Yeah, exactly. Even the Turkish, and that normally is you have the pure and you have the one mixed with cardamom. But they are going to add other spices in their houses also. 7, 8 different components.
Yes, they add as well mystic. Just giving a different taste, you know, of this coffee. You know, it depends, you know, which country you are from, what region. They have their own blends as well.
And the house, because each house they have their own recipe. So depending the family recipe, so the traditional, and they don't share also.
Yeah, it's like a house-made recipe, which you only drink it when you visit this house. Yeah.
Exactly, and for the Turkish coffee is the same. The other interesting thing also is the roast profiles. If you are roasting for a Saudi market, the Arab coffee are going to be even lighter. For UAE, they like cinnamon roast or darker.
Yeah.
And Turkish is the same. If you are roasting Turkish for the Turkey market, it's lighter.
Yes.
For Lebanon are going to be much darker. So came to a point I just say, okay, how do you want your coffee? And then we roast your way. Because in the end of the day, this is their taste.
Yes.
And so this is something that is happening and are not going to to change because it's their culture.
But Cleia, I have a question. So, because you guys do a lot of Turkish coffee, are you seeing, is there a change in terms of the ingredient? Or is the client shifting away from the Rio Menas? Is the client asking for Turkish coffee?
Okay, one of my clients, we roast for Carrefour, all the Turkish and Arabic for them. I have 12 different SKUs with 8 different blends.
8?
Yeah.
So
okay, you have a mix of Brazil, Rio Minas, and Robusta, different roast levels. Then you have only Brazil, the Santos, and you have only Rio Minas, or you have a mix of Rio Minas with Brazil, and some of these blends are only Nicaragua. I have one of only Colombia. So,
and is the client in that specific market, for example, if we take, for example, big supermarkets like Carrefour and stuff, are they becoming more into they're interested in the profiles, they're interested in the quality, or only price?
Price is there, of course, but no, they come with a profile. They come with a profile that you have to match.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so
sending to lab every.
It's evolving.
Yeah, it's a whole concept.
Yeah,
it's a blend creation.
Each new project you work on is like always asking for a new profile.
And they do a lot of tasting, Yaser?
Yeah,
they do.
Yes.
Yeah, and not only they are going to request several lab tests, and even expiration lab tests, and like very close to the expiration, they send to the lab to make sure that you are up standards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And it's a big market.
Yeah, and one thing also that's very interesting is this, that I have some coffee chains. They are also offering nowadays espresso as Turkish, with cardamom.
Yeah.
Don't ask me the taste because it's not my thing, but yeah, there is a market and people,
So
and they are selling a lot.
They buy espresso coffee, but it's roasted Turkish style?
Costa.
Ah.
And this is interesting also. I know that our time, no, we have time actually. So this is very interesting. So all these numbers that you guys are seeing, so the yellow is the assumption. So it's not the...
Not yet confirmed.
Not yet confirmed, but nowadays, this is the volume of green beans purchased that if someone needs this to be shared later on, we are going to be available also. But so in the Middle East aggregation with all the countries, we have 908,505. This is in $1,000. So these are the green beans that were purchased. Only in UAE, we have 69.250, I guess. Yeah. So then, you know, your piece of market when you know how much you are buying.
Yeah.
I did the calculation how much you are buying. Yeah, it's quite
interesting, you know,
yeah.
it's because the UAE is also a re-export market. So,
yes.
So a lot of the coffees that you see probably in Saudi Arabia are
coming from UAE. No, but this is only the green beans. This is not what we are exporting.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So this is only, and Saudi, of course, is the biggest market because let's think about Saudi and Kuwait. They don't drink alcohol. So, okay, here in Colombia, in Brazil, we have a lot of pubs also, UK, one pub after the other. There they are going to have one coffee shop after the other. I love when I go to Kuwait and, you know, you walk on the streets.
Yes.
100 coffee shops. is amazing. And a lot of specialty.
Yeah.
Also coffee shops. So it's really incredible. So this is...
And high penetration.
High,
like
yeah.
each one can, in a coffee shop, drink like 3-4 cups of coffee daily.
Yeah.
But there is one thing that is very interesting also that you told me. So Mohamad sells a lot of green beans also for the small coffee shop, small roasteries, the nano roasters. Also they're clients of, actually when I'm short in coffee, I buy from him also. And you told me something that is very interesting also. You said, yeah, when I sell to a guy, his brother is roasting also, then he want a different coffee.
So a lot of times, you know, like there are so many home roasters now, and in some cases, we have people that buy coffee from us, and his brother has a cafe, and the other brother has a cafe, and he's like, please make sure my brothers don't buy the same coffee like me. So I don't want my brother to have the same coffee like me. So, and it's a very small consumption. You know, the market is.
It's growing, but it's not that many.
It's not that big, you know, people, because of Dubai's marketing power. A lot of people think Dubai is a huge market and there's a lot of things to do, but Dubai is a small market, relative, as you can see.
Yeah,
I mean, the numbers
clear,
are telling
actually.
us that relative to Saudi Arabia, relative to Egypt, even Jordan, look, even Jordan is higher than Dubai.
Exactly.
So it's just because Dubai is good at marketing and it's a very good exporting hub. But realistically, the consumption in Dubai is not that big. No. And people tend to overestimate it a lot of the times.
Yeah, but imagine, I have over 70 blends to attend all the markets. Here, you told me, you have more than 70 different green beans offerings. So it's a lot. We need to have a big basket.
We do.
Because then that's the one thing that is cultural also there. I cannot be in the position that I'm going to lose a client because I didn't have anything to offer.
Yes. You know, each market has, and this is very important to be taken into consideration for the producers. You cannot treat the Japanese market and the Korean market like the Middle Eastern market. Each market has a different dynamics, and each market has a different requirements. And your partner in the origin or on the receiving, on the buying country, on the importing country, you should align your strategy with them, because they're the ones who really understand the intricacies of the market that they're working with. It's something that really we've noticed over time, Cleia, that a lot of producers or exporters, they have in mind thinking, okay, if I'm selling at this price for Japan, I can sell for the Middle East at the same price, but my Japanese. But if your strategy is just to focus on one market, which is the Japanese market, and this is something the pandemic has taught us as well, is that you really need to diversify your market. You can't be selling to one specific geography only. Well, you can, but is that a wise business decision? That's something that you have to take into consideration. And you have to keep in mind as a producer that by diversifying, you're reducing your risk. It's very important to take that into consideration and to mark that.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about the coffee that is exported, what we can see here is most of the green beans that were imported, they stay in those countries.
Yes.
So it's a very small portion that is exported as roasted coffee.
Mm-hmm. Because now, you know, everyone is getting into roasting, and it's becoming, you know, it's like a trend that everyone wants to roast at home, everyone wants to roast in a small cafe.
Not only, tell me about it, we are in the situation now that our distributors, they want to roast.
I mean,
so we have to roast with them, or what you do? So you need to open other roasteries.
But Yaser, do you think it's sustainable?
Yeah.
Dubai is a big market, you know. As you said, it's a trading hub in Middle East where we see that lots of, you know, from the region, they come to Dubai, first of all, you know, to do business and then pleasure. And I mean, it's always on a checklist to come to Dubai, and you know, they always come with an excuse of doing business in Dubai. They see the opportunities. Dubai it's like an international market where you can have lots of different products there. You know, whatever product you think of is available from even, you know, lots of different regions where you can get and you can sell even in Dubai, because of the number of, you know, the number of, you know, different, you know, culture are there.
Yes.
So it's sustainable or no, it's a tricky question, but we see lots of changes in the market. It's a very fast market. You always see new players in the market. Lots of new technology coming in the market as well there, you know. Lots of people want to start in that market, you know, to showcase their product in UAE initially to start, and then it will be easier for them to offer this product in the other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we open for questions. Thank you very much. Anyone has any question? No? So we clarify everything. And there is one here.
What percentage of consumption is specialty coffee? Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
What percentage, más o menos, is specialty coffee of the consumption?
For all these numbers that we are talking, is not much.
It's not much.
No, for us is close to, is not even 3%.
Yeah, so look, there's not enough data available on this, but what I can tell you is that the growth is very high. And it also depends what your, on the definition of consumption, of specialty.
Yes.
You know, because this is very important. For me, she's saying 3%, but honestly, some of their coffees are specialty in my point of view from a profile perspective.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
most of their coffee, even though they're volume type of roasters, their coffee is excellent.
Because there you don't see what you see in other markets, coffee very dirty. For instance, the coffee that I buy, I don't buy anything that is below 82. And then I buy Riominas for blends for Turkish coffee. But then that's the thing. You roast a lot of Turkish and Arabic.
Yes.
So then the quality can be a little bit lower, but also he has a higher quality.
You know, it's always a challenge because of the ingredients you add, you know, as well. You know, adding cardamom, saffron, and other spices. Will it help if it was a good cup, or you know, it just balance the flavor where you can taste everything in that cup, not only coffee, you taste the other ingredients. So specialty coffee, maybe it's gonna happen. I think lots of people are asking for specialty Arabic coffee or Turkish coffee. It's growing very fast.
Are they willing to pay though? That's the question.
Yes.
They are willing.
Yeah, yeah. There's people who will pay, you know, like UAE or GCC country, you know, there's people who will pay for, you know, a decent amount of money for a coffee.
That is, please, here.
Is it possible to know how many coffee shops are, I mean, more or less in the Middle East?
Good, no.
Yeah.
It's growing exponentially.
Very difficult because data is not, we don't have, the data is not very readily available in the Middle East, you know.
But there's a lot because, you know, their social life is based on
going out for a coffee.
Yes, because like less bars and pubs in that region, so for them to gather, it's mainly a coffee shop. And they offer coffee plus, you know, some...
And not only, it's different from other countries that around 8, 9 p.m. the coffee shop is closing, or 10 p.m. There, sometimes they are...
24/7.
Exactly. They are arriving the coffee shop 10 p.m. for coffee.
Yeah. And there, you have different categories of coffee shops in our part of the world, because you have the, you know, the third wave style coffee shops that are opening a lot now, but then you have the traditional where people drink coffee and smoke, you know, shisha. So and these can stay up to 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, but the coffee consumed there is mainly Turkish coffee,
traditional coffee, you know.
Traditional coffees.
And that's why the main consumption in the local market or in that region is Turkish and Arabic coffee.
Yeah, but then you have also you have the percentage Arabica that is growing a lot in the region. Now you have Elan that is arriving in the region, also came from UK. All the big chains like Starbucks, Costa, Caribou, Gloria Jeans,
Cafe Nero.
Yeah, so
it's growing because
there's independent coffee shops. Even We are opening now
Your own
the franchising also is growing.
Yeah.
And in Saudi, they are going to open more than 10 only this year. And the numbers are crazy.
Yeah.
So I said to you, more than 100 roasters. Some of these roasters are with coffee shop, but the number of coffee shops
It's a lot.
is
It's a lot.
Yeah. And independent coffee shop is also more and more.
Hello.
I think we...
Yes, hello. This is Natalia Jimenez from Buen Café, from the Colombian
¿Cómo
Coffee
estás?
Growers Federation. I have had the opportunity to speak to the three of you in different occasions. We are here seeing a clear trend of increase in the consumption of coffee in the GCC countries. And we are talking about roasters and roaster and ground coffee, but I am wondering, and I would like a response from each one of you if possible, how do you see the market for instant coffee?
Good
Very
question.
good question.
That's a very good question.
Is another market that actually, we want a piece of this market for sure. 60% of the consumption is instant coffee. So all the numbers that you guys saw here is only 13% of the market.
30%.
13,
13.
Yes.
1-3,
So instant is 60%.
60%. Yeah.
Lifestyle in those in like GCC countries we're used to fast life there where you need everything quickly.
Yeah.
And that's I think one of the reasons why instant coffee is growing there, or it has a big chunk of the market, is because that everyone wants a quick caffeine shot, let's say, to start the day with. And I think that's
And
one of the reasons why.
Not only the nationalities, if you...
Exactly,
yeah,
that's
so-
another part, but
Yeah.
I mean the main part, is like, being used to like running in UAE, so...
Lifestyle.
yeah, this is
lifestyle,
our
yeah.
life, yeah.
But you're saying 60%, that's Middle East.
Middle East, 60% of the consumption is instant coffee, around 13% is beans and ground,
Bean and
and then all the rest are going to be capsule.
Caps. So look, I'm not an expert on instant coffee, but I can tell you, in my point of view, that 60% can be looked upon. You have to look at it from there's various reasons why there is 60%. First, the population, as Cleia just mentioned, we live, especially in the GCC, there is a huge expat communities. And these expat communities, some of these expat communities are either tea drinkers that are shifting into instant coffee, or they're, the purchasing power is not very high and they're living a very fast-paced life that they need to still use instant coffees. But then you go to countries like Egypt and countries like Iraq, and these countries are going to still be consuming because within the cycle of, I think, this is my opinion, I think within the cycle of consumption of coffee, they're still at the beginning. They just finished from tea, and they're moving towards instant right now. And they're right here, right now, because these countries are, just now getting into consumption of coffee. And I think that you usually start with instant coffee, and you start moving into capsules.
Yeah, but the instant coffee also is also high, now with higher quality.
Yes.
Yeah, so the specialty instant is there also.
Hi, is there any particular origin or process that is more appealing to you guys for the Middle East market?
I
There
can
is space
answer.
for all. Yeah.
Look, in terms of high-end coffees, more like the higher-end specialties, I can tell you because of what we're selling.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm drinking this, because I'm boring. I drink washed, I like more washed complex coffees. But if I buy the coffee that I like to drink, I will not sell. So there is, I think, in my opinion, there is a relationship between the Arab palate and natural coffees because of the close proximity and the history with Ethiopia and Yemen. So I'm noticing, I'm talking about the very high-end coffee. I'm talking about the micro lots, the more, you know, the higher end of the market, and the demand is usually towards experimental, fermented, and natural processed coffees.
Yeah, natural, the anaerobic process, all the fermented.
Because
And
they enjoy this these fermented flavors. They do.
They do, they love it.
They love it.
I always have to have some anaerobic.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, we are out.
Because I mean, I think because of we're used to, you know, adding lots of spices and herbs to our food, so we always want, you know, a colorful flavor.
You know, Yaser, in my point of view, I think the Arab palate is developed. Like
It's
the
developing.
Arabs drink a lot of coffee, so
They come also, they ask if to make Arabic coffee, why they want a Nicaragua instead of Brazil? Because when you roast for Arabic coffee, the coffee is underdeveloped. So if you get a Brazil, you're going to have only peanuts taste, basically. When I get a Colombia or a Nicaraguan, any coffee here from also either Central America, you are going to have other flavors like lemon, some orange. So they want this. Yeah. And especially when you roast for like cinnamon roast, the way that the UAE they like.
The way the UAE.
Then you are going to get more these notes, and they enjoy it. Please.
No, as an ex-resident in Dubai for 20 years, so I was very happy to see you here as well. And really looking forward to learn from you and work with you. Ahla wa sahla, bienvenidos.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Here, please.
You initially said that the specialty coffee usually or used to come from Brazil, but now it's coming from Nicaragua, Colombia. Where else is coffee coming to the Middle East for a specialty coffee from this part of the world?
Everywhere. You have like, I'm just catching Ecuador, Uganda, Indonesia, Colombia. We got some Colombia that we pay $70 per kilo. And people are buying.
Yes.
And impressive, we have also other roasters there, like Ibrahim. He got some geishas that he was selling, he bought for more than $100. So all the origins, so in the roastery I have over 20 different origins that I buy. How many origins you buy?
We buy everything, most origins. But, you know, if you're asking, look, Ethiopia is a must on the portfolio.
Colombia also.
Colombia.
If you don't, Colombia, Ethiopia, Indonesia, more or less, some of them they reject sometimes, but Brazil,
Guatemala,
Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador.
But you know the
Eastern Africa also.
Uganda is huge
Uganda,
now.
yeah.
It's huge now, especially with the prices going up.
Kenya.
And I think the reason as well is like Dubai is a trading hub.
Yes.
And that's why everyone would want to have the coffee there. Lots of options are there.
Yes.
To re-export, to use it locally. So.
Yeah. So if you ask me which origin, like I said before, they are asking for different origins also. So Saudi, they have coffee.
Yes.
They are producing coffee now.
Now they have a plan of planting, you know, a big area as well.
Then we have the Chinese coffees that are coming also slowly.
You're seeing it in the market, Chinese.
I haven't tried anything that was solid to purchase yet, but yeah, it's coming. And if Yemen, like Mohammed was mentioning before, really, even with the war that is still happening, it's a market, and they are bringing coffee a lot, and quite a lot of interest in Yemeni coffees also.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So just it's worth mentioning that in Saudi Arabia, the government is really pushing now for the increase of production of coffee, and they're trying to put like a government plan to do so. And this is because Saudi shares borders with Yemen, and on these shared borders, on the Saudi side, there's the Saudi coffee, and the other side there's the Yemeni coffee. So they're starting to notice with the increase in consumption of high quality coffee and people talking about coffee and the government. I mean, Saudi this year for culture, the tourism in Saudi, they announced that this is the year of coffee. So it's really important. Just to keep that in mind. There's the relationship between Arabs and coffee is intrinsic, and it's historical. And it's very important to keep that in mind. And
how proud they are.
How proud they are,
About
at the end of the day, it's Arabica. So we have to keep that in mind, that the name is derived from that part of the world. And there's a big relationship between them. But it's very interesting right now, we're all witnessing the evolution in the consumption and how it's changing, with the new generations that are coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
It's
much.
amazing to be here.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. Taking into account that the coffee shops are open so late, how's the decaf consumption?
There is a market for decaf, and I believe always are going to have, especially, we tried Laurina this week, it's amazing. There is a market there for decaf, and coffee shops depend, some coffee shops they're opening 8 o'clock in the morning or even 7. Or 20, and some of them are 24 hours. Decaf is also always, I always have decaf also because there are people that cannot drink caffeine as well. So there is a big market for decaf. But also, I don't buy any decaf with chemical. I don't know, you do buy any decaf?
Yeah, we buy it.
But also always water processed, Swiss water, or
Sugar
the sugar
cane.
cane, especially from Colombia. Okay,
Yes.
I think we are done. No,